In this video, I'm going to talk about the worst money habits keeping you poor. And I could be like, hey, you should listen to me because I'm so cool and I'm so smart. But I'm really not either of those things. The only reason you should really listen to me in this video on the worst money habits is because these are habits that I had and that my wife had. We, effectively had $0 in savings. My wife was in credit card debt. And we quit doing these really bad money habits and we became multi-millionaires by the time we turned 30 years old. And so, in reality, that multi-millionaire by 30 probably isn't even that impressive. I mean, with inflation and with the internet, there's many people much more successful than me, but we did a pretty good job and I'm pretty proud of our results. And it really came down to these couple things. So in this video, I was going to break down the worst money habits that I think you and I probably have just inherited from the way that we grew up in our society and the way that we're taught to think and behave with money. And when we quit doing these things, it changed my wife and I's life. If you enjoy this video, make sure you hit the subscribe and bell notification to check out more videos. Give me a comment down below for the good old YouTube algorithm, and I will see you on the other side. So the worst money problem that really effectively controls most of our society is the idea that the problem has to do with money. Like the reason that I'm broke has to do with money, or the reason that I'm broke has to do with some type of circumstance in my life. Well, I haven't learned about money. I didn't go to the right school. And the justification for why I don't have any money is always placed on either the lack of digits or something exterior. It wasn't until I got honest with myself and I said, I'm the one that's messing up. It's not that I'm to this. It's not that I'm to that. It's not that the world's unfair. It's not that the rich people have done all these things. The problem is me and how I'm viewing and behaving with every dollar that comes into my bank account. Well, I can't save any of this because I don't have any. The day my financial life changed was the day I finally looked in the mirror and I said, I need to change. Like the reason that I don't have any money, the reason I'm broke, the reason I'm stressed, the reason I can't do the things that I want to do in my life, the reason that I can't fulfill my God-given potential, the reason that my wife is going to a job that she hates every single day and spending an hour in traffic each way to get there is because of me. And the worst money mistake you can make is think that the reason that you are in the financial position that you are in is because of something or somebody else. It's my fault. It is actually my fault. It's my fault I didn't save more money. It's my fault I didn't save any money because I used to say, well, I'll save once I get more money and I don't have very much. So how do you expect me to save it? Because I don't even have any. It's easy for you to say you have more than me. I would save it, but I don't have any. I'll save it when I get more in like 6 more months. That's my fault that 6 months passed and I still don't have any savings. It's my fault I'm spending my credit card. It's not the credit card company's fault. Yeah, I agree, credit card companies are scams. This entire financial system is a giant Ponzi scheme. They're printing money out of thin air. They're giving it to you at 17% interest rate on a credit card. Then you spend the rest of your life in credit card debt, underpaid at a job you don't even like, and paying 20% interest on the credit card. I agree. But you're not going to change the entire financial system, and you're certainly not going to change it by being a willing participant in the zombification of human beings. So it's my fault. It's my fault that I didn't wake up in the morning, read my goals on a piece of paper, set clearly defined financial. It's my fault. I didn't open a book. It's my fault I sat and I watched Netflix instead. It's my fault. It's my fault that I procrastinated. It's my fault that I scrolled the internet aimlessly. It's my fault that I was sitting around being jealous. It's my fault that I was feeling sorry for myself. It was my fault that I felt bad about where I was, so I spent my time gossiping about somebody else as a self-protective mechanism for me to not deal with my own feelings. It's my fault I didn't read a book on time management and productivity. It's my fault I didn't spend an hour by myself and start thinking. And just thinking about what I'm thinking about and finding out how much of my day, it's not that I don't have enough time. It's not that I don't have enough time. It's that I am wasting my time. There's a distinction between the two of them. Everybody gets the same amount of time, all the time that there ever was and that there ever will be. It's already been created, and that's how much time we get. And it wasn't until I stopped making it everything else's fault. Like, there was a time when I thought I wasn't successful because I was young. There was a time that I thought I wasn't successful because this guy, Matston Kipp, had a blog called The Daily Love, and he wouldn't let me blog on it when I was starting my career. He said no, and he should say no. I was just some random kid that wanted to make articles. Like, what value did I provide to him? None. That's why he said no to me. But instead of realizing that I didn't have any value to add to him and his business, I got mad. Well, he should let me do it, you know? And because he said no to me, I can't build an audience, and then people don't know about my books, and then nobody wants to buy my books, and then because of that, I can't make any money. So it was his fault. And then it was the publishing companies that all said no to me. It was Reed Tracy's fault. Reed Tracy is the CEO of Hay House. Hay House Publishing, a very, very, very successful self-help publishing company. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars over the court. Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Gabby Bernstein, all of them. Reed said no. He didn't want to publish my books when I was 20 and I dropped that. He said, dude, I don't know who you are. Like, you don't go sell your book on your own. And if it does well, then maybe we can talk. I said, well, I would be successful at books if it wasn't for Reed. He doesn't understand. And you see, we built a society like that where now we're actually rewarded for being victims. We literally get financial compensation in our system now for being a victim. If you just accept that you are stuck where you are in your life, you will be rewarded. And at the very least, I realized it became a way for me not to look in the mirror and say, it is my fault. Because as soon as I say that it is my fault, that the light photons flitting and fleeting in my bank account are my fault, then I can change them. Then even though I'm making $1,000 a month, I could start saving 50% of it, which is what I did. I decided eventually that I was in control of my financial life. I didn't think I was, you know, and I thought, well, you know, you need to change the system, bro. And it's like, who you vote for will help you. And like, then I realized that's all a bunch of baloney. And I take 100% personal responsibility for my life, especially the light photons in my bank account and my financial life. I take responsibility for it. Donald Trump doesn't control it. Hillary Clinton doesn't control it. Barack Obama doesn't control it. Joe Biden doesn't control it. Bernie Sanders, none of it will change my life. Only I can change it. And I started reading books about rich people. And I read that there was some guy named Sir John Templeton that was a billionaire investor, and he used to save like 80% of his income. He didn't have any money starting his career as an investor, so he saved almost all of it from this little job that he had, so he had capital to invest. And so him and his wife lived super meager because this guy was literally saving, most people can't save 1% of their income. This guy was saving 80% of it. or 90% of it, or some ridiculous sum of money, Sir John Templeton. And I said, well, I could do that. I may not make a lot of money, but I can control how much of it I keep. And I started focusing on producing more than I consumed and keeping as much capital between the difference of what I produced and what I consumed. And I started to build this momentum. And when you realize that, at first it can be a slap in the face, right? Because a lot of us have fucked up pretty bad financially, let's be honest. And not just financially in our life. Most of us are lazy asses. We've wasted so much of our time scrolling the internet, making excuses, wasting our time, procrastinating, talking shit, being dramatic, being comfortable, just doing stuff that really doesn't help us that much. At least I know I have for a lot of my life. It's amazing how much time. And I realized to the degree that I wake up and I take responsibility for what the hell I'm doing with my time and my energy and my thoughts and my behaviors, is to the degree that I seem to make more money. And to the degree that I continue to make more money seems to be to the degree that I change myself, that I get more organized. Not just like, I'm productive and here's the 5 hacks to productivity, but like organize everything. Myself mentally, myself spiritually. And sometimes I'm a train wreck and I have a daughter now, and sometimes life gets more complicated for you. I understand and I hear that. But every time that I have a big financial breakthrough, it always comes back to me changing and me growing and me being more organized and me being more responsible and me waking up early in the morning and hitting the gym as soon as it opens at 5 a.m. instead of having 2 glasses of wine and watching freaking some show the night before. I'd be pretty impressed if I was having those 2 glasses of wine at 5 a.m. But to the degree that I make those shifts and to the degree that I start focusing on higher income producing skills and to the degree that I start to build better habits, because I started to go recently, I just had the best financial year of my entire life last year, way better than I even thought it was going to be. It was freaking crazy. But then I've hit a plateau. I've been saying things to myself like, because I've got all these different things, and then now I have a baby, and then you've got, family dynamic is a different thing than when you're just a solo entrepreneur, creative person by yourself. Like, it's a different dynamic. So I started saying, well, I don't have enough time, now I'm a father and it's hard, and and I've just been being a little baby. The only reason I am where I am is because of me. The only reason you are where you are financially is because of you. It's not because of the school you did or did not go to. It is not because of your childhood. It's not because of your mother, your father, the things they did or didn't do, the adults around you. It's not due to the credit card companies. It's not due to Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama. It's not due to Jeff Bezos, trust me. It's not due to the way you look. It's not due to the things people said about you. None of that really matters. This is just a one-on-one game, like one-on-one basketball. Your financial life is a one-on-one game and you're the only one that's playing, right? So like, imagine playing a game of basketball one-on-one against yourself. But then I ask you how the game went and you're like, well, not that good. We would have done better, but they didn't make their layups. They weren't playing good defense. Well, who wasn't making their layups? Who wasn't playing good defense? You were the only one in the game. But yeah, it was Joe Biden. It was Donald Trump. It was my boss. My English teacher, my mom. Imagine doing that during this one-on-one game. And that's what we do in our financial life. You may never be Jeff Bezos rich, but it's really not that complicated to make and have a net worth of 6 figures, 7 figures. It's not that complicated. It is hard. But the only reason it's hard is because we're playing against ourselves and all of our own like self-protective mechanisms that just like, you would never blame the reason that you were overweight on your uncle or on Donald Trump or Joe Biden or the system or your education or your spouse. Like you would be insane if you did that. Well, the reason that I'm 100 pounds overweight is because Barack Obama, because of Trump. It's because of the system. I am 120. I ate 5 cheeseburgers today. I haven't exercised in 7 years because of my mom when I was 11. Like you would never do that. You'd be insane. Why do we do it for our finances? Because, I don't know, maybe because Wall Street's like conditioned us, it's more complex, or really maybe because we're just, I don't know. I guess that's the big billion-dollar question, but that's just philosophy. Let's focus on reality. Let's focus on the one-on-one game that is the light photons called your bank account. The one-on-one game of light photons that is your bank account. Because it's never been easier to make money. It's never been easier to save money. We've got all these apps, to help us automatically save. It's never been easier to make and save money. This is a 100% fact. Yet we have more excuses than ever before and more distractions than ever before. But it's never been easier. So here's what you do. You go into the mirror and you say, you grab yourself by the shirt and you say, listen here, asshole. I know you are capable of more. I forgive you. I love you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not going to like sit and be like, well, I wasted so much time. And I don't know why I did that. And I'm mad at myself. You just grab yourself and you look yourself in the mirror and you say, I love you. I forgive you. I'm sorry. I'm not mad. I know you can do better. And you say, you listening to me? You can do better. You're capable of more. You may not be the smartest person in the history of the world, but you really don't need to be. Henry Ford was illiterate. Henry Ford couldn't even read. I bet you can read, at least a little bit. Technically, you're smarter than Henry Ford. It's never been easier to make 6 figures. It's never been easier to pull out a pen and pad and write down the life that you want to live. It's never been easier to save money. It's never been easier to start new businesses, to try new things. And you probably have had many ideas. You've just been getting in your own way. And then when we get in our own way long enough, then we get the results we don't want to get. And then when we get the results we don't want to get, we don't want to deal with the feelings of being responsible for it. So we just go, well, this is the way it is. And this is just the way it is. The rich people, they control it. And, it's just the way. I've never been that smart. No one in my family's ever done that. It's just the way it is. You can try hard in life, but life's just unfair, okay? Life's a bitch and some people aren't as good as you, right? And then you see how it is. And then we justify why we stay the same our whole life. But it doesn't have to be that way. It's just a decision. You have to decide that today's the day, this is the moment, this is the video that changed your life. That it's happening right now in this very second. Anyways, I could keep going and going and going. In this video, it was just kind of off the cuff. This is something that's I'm thinking a lot about in my life. And so if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below if this spoke to you. Be sure to check out my free success hypnosis. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's my free success hypnosis to start reprogramming your subconscious mind for financial success. Because this one of the things that when I started to control what I could control, I started to build my own success hypnosis that I started listening to in the morning and I started listening to at night because I realized I had all of these old belief systems, all those things we talked about in the video. Too young, too this, too that, you don't know enough. And I realized it was my responsibility to reprogram them. Most people just stick with their old belief system their entire life. And I realized, look, if I wanted my life to change, I was going to have to change my belief system subconsciously. And it was something I could control. I can't control everything, but there's some things that I can. And one of them is how I'm coding my subconscious. And so if you want to update the code, the software on your subconscious and program yourself for financial success, you can check out my free success hypnosis. It's right there down below in the description and pinned to the comments right there down below.